Greetings fellow tank commanders. In this video I'm going to be showing you a game and giving you my first impression of the Trinity Mark II. This is a tier 8 mercenary premium medium tank with regular matchmaking. The game I'm playing is an assault battle on Panama with tier 8 as the top tier and no artillery. For this game my tank is equipped with a gun rammer, vertical stabilizer, and improved ventilation. And I'm using the Sonic Valkyrie crew which came with this tank that has 2 crew skills and perks. However, I have switched out pain tolerance for 6th sense. I've had a bit of a rough start with the Trinity so far. The tank's got some great characteristics, but I'm having trouble meshing them into an effective game style. The Trinity's got some good ridgeline fighting capabilities, and since it's got good armor for a medium tank, I'm going to a more close quarters area to brawl. This kind of strategy won't work out too well when you're not top tier, but against tier 8s and lower you can get away with being a bit of a brute. As a whole, the Trinity falls somewhere between a medium tank and a heavy tank, with a horsepower to weight ratio of 10.61 and a top speed of 42 kilometers. The Trinity does feel sluggish for a medium tank, and especially when you're climbing up large hills. The trade-off of mobility for extra armor can still feel worthwhile, but at tier 10 I really miss having the extra mobility of most medium tanks, which help you outmaneuver some of those tougher tanks when your tier 8 armor isn't going to stand much of a chance against the best guns in the game. The mobility is a little better than the Super Pershing, and then the turret is actually from the Super Pershing, just with a little more spaced armor. So if you're familiar with that tank, you'll have a good idea what the Trinity feels like to use, with some obvious exceptions such as the weaker hull armor and the better gun performance. The gun has a 0.3 accuracy, which is really great, with a base 1800 damage per minute, which is relatively average for a tier 8 medium tank with a 240 alpha damage gun. Now I've been having trouble finding good strategies to play with the Trinity, because with such an accurate gun you would think of maybe using it as a mobile sniper, but it's a little too slow for that, and there's not really a point in trying to substitute in as a tank destroyer. And although in this game you're going to see the armor being quite effective, but in most cases I don't find it bounces enough to base a whole strategy around it, and it becomes much less reliable when you're fighting in tier 9 and 10. So far it seems to be falling in a category of a medium range support tank, feeling a bit like a Chieftain T95, but that doesn't take full advantage of the 0.3 accuracy. And if you're fighting at medium range outside the main engagements, I've had trouble keeping up with the flow of the game with the lesser mobility, especially with so many light tanks having control over the pace of the game. So the Trinity is the first premium mercenary tank, which is quite significant considering that each one of the mercenary tanks you have to have a different crew for. One thing that I'm a little disappointed about right now is that it's got a 50% silver earning bonus and a 10% XP earning bonus, which isn't really what we needed in terms of a mercenary premium tank at the moment. I would have much rather a tank with a higher XP or a crew XP bonus, which would have helped with crew training. But for now, the Trinity will do as an extra multiplier for our crews, and it gives some good silver earning potential. Now I want to point out that this is the Trinity Mark II, not to be confused with the War Story Trinity tank, which does have some similar qualities, but it is not the same. So basically my team all huddled together in the close quarters brawling area of the map. Despite our heavy presence, we got quite beat up, and when I saw that the enemies were starting to encircle us, I fell back to this location, and fortunately my remaining teammates and I have been able to hold the enemies at bay, and have brought it back from being down 3 tanks to just 1 now. Now you can see an example of this tank's great accuracy. I've got a nice small aiming reticle to target the weak spots of this Tiger II, but this is at just over 100 meters, so there is an increased reliability and it'll take some of the RNG out of the situation, no matter what distance you're fighting at, but it's not that insane 0.15 accuracy that you may have really liked going through the war stories with the Trinity Mark I. I was unsure which enemies to try and target here. I was worried about the light and medium tank coming up from the back, but I really should have just charged in at that King Tiger with my teammate and tried to at least just get one enemy out of the way to make it a more balanced battle. But it actually worked out really well because the King Tiger is focused now on fighting my KV-4 teammate and gave me some easy shots. And the enemy Lycan charged my heavy tank instead of charging me, which I don't think was the right decision, but he was just trying to save his teammate, and I can't complain about another easy kill on a distracted enemy. That there is actually a 3-kill Reaper streak, and now all that's left is the enemy tier 6 light tank, who potentially could have just won the game by running and hiding, but instead sat out in the open here as an easy target for me. Right there, a tier 6 light tank found his way through my frontal armor. That hasn't been uncommon for me with the Trinity. Make sure to use your excellent 11 degrees of gun depression to hide your hull armor, and keep rolling back and forth so that you don't give the enemies any easy shots on your commander's hatch. Now let's check the post-game stats and see how I did. For this game I earned 121,000 silver with a 25% multiplier and 3,465 experience. In this game I dealt 5,058 damage, assisted with 488 damage, and destroyed 7 enemies while blocking 2,010 damage. This earned me High Caliber, Mastery Badge Ace Tanker, Top Gun, Devastator, Steel Wall, and a Reaper medal. I placed at the top of my team, earning a base XP of 2,100. I managed to hit 30 of my 35 shots and penetrate 25 of those. In terms of crew and module damage, I damaged the ammo rack and injured the driver in the VK36.01H, injured the radio operator in the T-29, damaged the fuel tank in the Brazil, and damaged the ammo rack in the Lycan. Well, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing that game with the Trinity Mark II, and that my first impression will be useful in deciding whether this is a good addition to your garage. Stay tuned for more awesome World of Tanks videos.